Hey everybody, it's Jonah Lupton back again with another episode of Startup Sense. We got a great show for you today. I want to introduce you to the co-founder of Squire. His name is Dave Salvant. Dave, how are
hmm
you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing, John? How's everything?
It's great. Now, you guys are in New York City, right?
Correct.
So before we start talking about Squire, just give us a little background on yourself.
Oh, okay, cool. Myself, so we started Squire about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now. Prior to that, I was actually in business school at the University of Wisconsin. Prior to that, I was doing sales and strategy for AXA US, and before that, I was at JP Morgan Chase.
Sweet. So how did you go from Wisconsin to New York? That's a big change.
Well, I'm from New York, so
Okay.
I'm from New York. Been in New York my whole life. I just went to Wisconsin for business school, and then I just came back to New York. I didn't finish. I just left to start Squire
Cool.
in January of 15.
How do you and your
My
co-founders?
sorry.
How did you and your co-founders get together?
Oh, so my song, my co-founder about 6 7 years now. We used to hang out a lot, a bunch, socially, and we started thinking about things about how we can we spend all this time and resources and energy going out having a good time. How can we use that energy and focus and create something that people love and what we personally have experienced some pain points with, which is getting a haircut.
Right. So tell us about Squire. What does the company do?
Squire is open table for barbershops. We actually provide a back-end software system to allow barbershop owners and managers to effectively run their businesses, from everything from scheduling to payment processing to POS functionality. On the consumer side, and that's the business side, on the consumer side, we have a mobile app that allows you to find a barbering area, pick a time that works for you, and simply go into the barbershop and get a haircut and walk out. All the other frictional components are stripped out. You don't have to worry about bringing cash. You don't have to worry waiting. You don't have to worry about calling. It's a seamless experience. Just go to get your haircut and walk out the door.
So I downloaded the app, prior to this interview, and I mean it's a really, really nice looking app. Did you guys build it in house?
Yes, absolutely. So my third co-founder is Yas Tabitha. He's our CTO as well. He actually built the mobile NFL mobiles application, was one of the lead engineers on that. Very experienced. So we build everything in house as well.
So talk to us about what does the barbershop market look like? How big is this opportunity across the country? Because
I
I mean,
mean, across the world.
right.
Actually, men's grooming is one of the fastest growing industries, and it's actually outpacing women's beauty. The rate of growth. Women's beauty obviously is bigger, but the rate that men's grooming is growing is faster than women's grooming, and it's a worldwide industry. I think last year men spent about $23 billion in the U.S. alone on grooming, men's grooming. That's in the barbershops, that's products, and that's growing faster.
So how many? I mean, do you have any idea how many barbershops there are just in the U.S.? I mean,
Yeah,
there's obviously.
there's about 1.1 million
Wow,
barbershops in the United
really?
States. Yes,
Gee, that's insane. I mean, obviously the big cities. I mean, I guess it's all density and population, right? So the big cities are
absolutely,
barbershops.
absolutely. It's like for every I think 10,000 people, there's like two or three. That's
Okay.
the kind of like numbers that we research.
So where did you guys start? Did you start in New York?
Yes, we started in New York. Obviously, Song and I are from New York, so we started in New York. Just really, hitting the ground. Knocking on doors. Trying to. We actually owned and operated a barbershop for 6 months to get a first eye view. How it was to run a barbershop
That's smart.
and just to have that unique perspective that managers and owners of barbershops have. So we actually owned and operated a barbershop in Chelsea Market. It used to be called Decatur and Sons, so we operated that for 6 months. And that really, really provided us with some key insights on, how how this market works. So we're from New York City. We're a New York-based company, and we are trying to, really build something special that people want.
I mean, I certainly don't think of the barbershop industry as being very tech savvy. So is that one of the big issues that you guys are trying to conquer here?
I mean, yes, yes, yes. But with technology, we know that it's changing. The barbershops are one of the last industries that technology hasn't come and really taken over. We've seen what it has done to the food industry. We see what it's done to transportation, and barbershops and haircuts are one thing that men often have to get into perpetuity, and it's one of the last industries that hasn't really adopted technology. So that's what we're trying to do, is really trying to bring this industry to the current state of the economy. And the barbershops, they know it's coming. I mean, these guys use services like Uber, Lyft. They order their food on Uber Eats or Grubhub, so they know it's coming, and they've been pretty receptive to it.
Now, I mean, do any of these barbershops, or what percentage of barbershops already have some sort of a POS system in place?
I mean, well, it's the bigger ones. So it's the bigger ones. I would say if you're charging like $35 to $30 an hour for a haircut, you probably have some sort of system in place, because at that point, people expect some level of service, or a better level of service, so they're paying a higher price point. So it's about the organization of the shop. So we're seeing about 40% have some type of system already, but it's usually old and archaic, or they've been using it for 10 years, or 10 years plus. The interface is not cool for the customer. So that's what we're trying to do, is really take over that market.
I mean, because I think before Squire, I mean, there's two ways that people, set up appointments with a barber. They either just walk in there and they have to wait, or they have to, they call up and, have to try to schedule something on the phone, both of which are not really convenient or efficient.
Yeah, it's terribly not. It's just, you got to call during the hours that they work. We walk in, as a busy professional, you can end up waiting, 45 minutes. And if you only have an hour to get a haircut, or a half hour, that just doesn't work. Then you also have to have cash sometimes, and stuff like that. It's just really inefficient. And the way we came up with the idea was my co-founders and I. We experienced this problem of going to the barbershop, having a text or call, sitting there, wait, have to bring cash. These pain points that that shouldn't be around when we're going to have autonomous drivers, autonomous cars soon. So I think we really were solving for our problem, and we realized that a lot of other guys, if not all guys, had some pain when going to the barbershop.
So are you guys more focused on acquiring the barbershops for your platform, or acquiring the customers?
I mean, we're focused on the supply first, and that's simply because chicken and the egg situation, where you want to get supply before you can get the demand. And what we learned is if we get supply, the demand will come, because the barber shop ends up onboarding their customers anyway. So
how do you guys find these barbershops? I mean, are you going to Yelp?
I mean, Yelp, and just more hand-to-hand combat. It's a lot of hand-to-hand combat, a lot of working around, a lot of relationships. These barbershops are super passionate about barbers. I'm sorry, are super passionate about what they do. So if you're getting good with one or a couple or many of them, it's kind of like a referral system where they'll do they'll refer you to various other barbers, and it's a better way of acquiring, as opposed to just randomly going through like a sales strategy, because these barbers are like infamously wary. So you have to, have some validation within the community, and it's a very strong community.
Now, do you charge the barbershops a monthly fee, or do you take a transaction?
No, well, I mean, we don't charge a fee. We don't charge a fee to them. We actually monetize on the customer side by, charging the customer $1 per transaction.
Okay, so it's like a convenience fee kind of.
Yeah, convenience processing fee type thing.
Okay. What's been your fastest growing city so far, or what
I
city?
mean, New York and probably the Bay Area. We have some shops in San Francisco, Sacramento. That area, has been really good for us, just because a lot of the guys that live in the area are very tech focused. So they're ready, they already want to use something that makes it more convenient for them to do what they have to do. Yeah, so that's what the Bay Area has been a huge surge of growth, as well as New York, our home territory.
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, the Bay Area is super tech savvy. They're always looking for for new on demand services. Um,
hmm
Talk about kind of how is the company funded? I know you guys went through Y Combinator. Just tell us a little bit about that, and who you guys raised money from.
So the company went through the fellowship first, which is now been discontinued in uh, February of 2016. After the fellowship, we went into the core program in summer 16. Um, Y Combinator summer 16 batch. We raised money from several folks. We're still probably raising right now. We raised money from, some guys at WeWork, some angels at Facebook, and a few VCs. Comcast being one of them. Comcast Ventures. So we raised from some folks, but we're currently raising. We hope to close, in a few weeks.
Nice. How did you find those investors? Was it mostly through Y Combinator?
Yeah, Y Combinator is great. It's a great program, and that's pretty much how we found, our latter investors, our later investors. Sorry, and early on, it was just hustle and a whole bunch of luck. Luck really plays a big part in opportunities, and we got lucky. We met some folks at WeWork, and they were very good to us, providing us not only mentorship but also some much needed capital when we first got started.
I mean, is that capital that so you guys have raised over $1 million or close to it so far, and I know it hasn't closed yet, so it's not really completely public or posted on Crunchbase. But how are you guys
hmm
planning to? How are you going to deploy that capital? I mean, is that for hiring talent? Is it for
But
more dev work? Is it for
I mean,
marketing?
it's probably gonna be for hiring talent, and just marketing efforts, and just adding fuel to the fire. Immediately, we need we have a brilliant CTO and third co-founder who built pretty much the whole product by himself. So we would like to get him some additional resources to kind of like speed things along. Aside from that, marketing is going to be a huge requirement, as well as sales and stuff like that. So it's just like the first thing is engineering. The second thing is probably like marketing and really turning up the heat on these barbers.
This is Jonah Lupton, founder of the Lupton Group and host of the Startup Sense podcast. Are you struggling to find the right tech team to build your company's website or mobile app? Maybe you've developed a product but need help with your go-to-market strategy, including branding and marketing. Well, stop worrying, because my team at the Lupton Group can assist you with all of those needs. We specialize in helping entrepreneurs and startups of all sizes launch and grow their businesses. For a free consultation, you can email me at jonahlupton@gmail.com or visit our website at luptongroup.co. So what marketing channels do you think are going to be the best for the company in terms of finding users?
Users, I mean, like end users, I think growth hacking SEO is going to be a huge avenue of us for us. We really want to focus on getting users a certain user profile, users that, are brands that will identify with our brand. The standard channels like Facebook, they work well. But we really want to find, kind of like guys who would, refer us new business. Kind of like, those first users, those kind of like people who ambassadors, they become so in love with your product that they become ambassadors and they want to tell their friends about it. And that's what type of users we're looking for. Those guys that really, really believe in our product and really enjoy, really take grooming serious, and they become like, our kind of like ambassadors, telling their friends about a product, etc.
Right. Totally. I don't always like to talk about competitors, but there is Style Seats out there. They've raised a bunch of money. I think they've processed a couple $1 billion of, reservations or appointments through their platform. So, but they're more on like the beauty side, the women. So, how often do you guys get compared to them, or, was that part of the selling point to the investors is, hey, these people did it on the women's side, no one's doing it on the men's side. This really is a massive market opportunity.
Not really. This Melanie is a terrific CEO. I have not personally met her, but what she's been able to do is pretty phenomenal. However, we focus on two things. We focus on becoming, the biggest male grooming company in the world. That's the vision of the company. Not only to incorporate, technology, but just the way men take care of themselves and the men operate is what we're laser focused on. We're not focused on women. We don't want to go into that market. We feel very strongly about staying in the men's grooming space. There are some similarities, but there are more differences than similarities. I feel when it comes to like Style Seat. But like I said, she's built an amazing company, and I wish her nothing but the best. But we're very, very different in a sense what we do.
Now, how are barbershops set up? Is it there's a barbershop owner and then he rents out the chairs to barbers? Is it like that?
There are two types of barbershops. There are the booth rent barbershop where each barber pays like a rent to the owner, and that's more of a real estate play. And then there's another barber, and then they're independent. They can do whatever they want. They can use whatever service they want. They have to buy their own, stuff like shaving cream and neck strips. And then there's the commission style type of shop where the barbers are effectively employees of the shop, where they get a commission of the transactions that they do, anywhere from 30-70% or 50-50 or whatever whatever they agree to. And that's the higher earning shops, probably averaging from like 250,000 to like 1.2 million in sales, yearly sales.
Okay. How many barbers does the typical barbershop have? On average on your platform?
About five.
Okay.
There's some that have like 10 and some that have like 3, but we're seeing about 5.
So since and how many barbershops do you guys have on your platform right now?
About 170, I think. Yeah, around there.
Okay. And how many are you kind of onboarding each month?
We're onboarding a lot. We're kind of ramping up now. As right now it's the holiday season, so it's very, very busy in the barbershops. People get haircuts for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and so on, New Year's. So we're ramping up right now, but at the same time, we have to be cognizant of these guys are busy, and probably change is not something they want during their busy time of the year. But we're definitely ramping up and really going full force. Okay,
cool. What have been the biggest challenges so far? Since you started the company, you went through YCombinator, you raised some money. What's kind of the other biggest challenge that you guys have had to take on?
it's just the biggest challenge by far is technical resources. Like I said, we only have a CTO and a junior engineer kind of working full time. Our CTO works about 18 hours a day,
Jesus.
just to get stuff done that we need. So the biggest challenge has been technical, just not moving fast enough. But we've come around the bend now, so things should be getting a lot better sooner.
Okay, cool. What is one of your kind of personal goals for the company over the next 6 or 12 months?
6 to 12 months is the number one goal is to be profitable. That's from a unit economic standpoint. I think we as a company, have a laser focus on profitability because you want to be able to control your own destiny and not be reliant on, venture capitalists for survival. And when you do that, it's just a situation where you can if there's a downturn or a couple of years ago when the VC markets dried up, you're just not dependent on it, and you want to be your company wants you want to be dependent on your efforts and not VC money.
What's the single best piece of advice, or a good piece of advice you've gotten from any of your investors? Anything stand out?
Advice. I think there's certain things that resonate well with me, and one thing that we work preachers is doing what you love. Every day you should do what you love, and I realize now I'm really doing most of what I love. There's no kind of like every morning I get up, I'm pumped up about what I'm doing. There's no drag on, I got to do something. Of course, there are situations where you run in like, dang, I just don't want to do this like paperwork, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to write this email right now. But overall, I think self-fulfillment and really doing what you love really is going to power you through when at points where you don't want to do something. And that's what some advice, and that's that's been helpful for us to keep that close to heart. Because being an entrepreneur and it's just really difficult. It's not easy. It's probably the most difficult thing I've undertaken in my life, and I'm sure there's 100,000 entrepreneurs that would say the same thing. And the road is always changing, and things get difficult, but you got to remember what you started this for.
Right. You got to be a little crazy, but you got to be completely passionate, motivated, and really, patient enough to kind of see it through. Because, I read something today that the Airbnb founders, for the first 2 or 3 years that they operated Airbnb, they had almost no growth, no traction, and then it was just like all of a sudden hockey stick growth. And, you got to see it through, and it was. I'm sure those first few years were brutal for them, and it sounds like you guys have seen some nice traction in the beginning, but it's a new concept. Barbershops are not used to this type of technology. Consumers are not necessarily used to it, and it takes a little while to to get people matched up through a platform like this. So, what other advice could you share with with the audience on what it's been like you as an entrepreneur and I don't know, working with co-founders. You guys sounds like you guys were friends. Does that make it easier to be co-founders?
Like another thing is like with your co-founders, I don't really believe in the whole founder dating thing. I think, and this is what YCombinator, really preaches. They really preach, build something with people who are your friends with, because at the end of the day, you're probably going to be spending more time with that person than anyone else in your life, and that includes your family, that includes girlfriends or wives or whatever the case may be. So you really have to get along. So you really have to get along, and it really has to be genuine friendship. Because when stuff gets hectic, it's not that it's the personal relationships that are going to keep things going, and you can rely on, and that you don't want to let your co-founders down because you guys are in this together. I think of a startup as going to battle, going to war, and you're going to war every single day. You're going to battle every single day, and you got to make sure you're well prepared and you can count on that guy sitting next to you. So that's another kind of mentality you got to have. You got to have like this is life and death, and that I think is really in our company that's really culture. We really don't like to wait. We really like to jump the gun and really like to take that initiative. Take that, just go out and get it. If you're thinking about something and you think you work, try it. Don't be hesitant. And that's really the culture we have in the company, and that just comes from you don't want to second guess anything. You just want to do it, and you want to, if it doesn't work, you want to find out why it didn't work, and you want to fail fast and try something else.
What is besides Squire, of course, what's your favorite piece of software or business app that you use on a daily basis?
I mean, Slack. I think Slack is like the best thing to happen to inter office communication in the last 5 years. Before we used to send emails and emails would get lost, and now it's just in one system. You can actually communicate with your team very effectively. So that's a piece of software which I think has been helpful to us as a tech company.
I would say at least 2/3 of the people I asked that question to all say Slack now. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not like I think my CTO uses some other stuff. That's pretty helpful for him. But me, I think Slack is the best system that we use.
Yeah, I usually get business software. I get Slack, email, and Skype. Those seem to be like the three most.
I don't like Skype too much. No, actually, Skype hasn't improved a lot lately, so I just used it the other day. But I know a couple of years ago it was not that good. But now I think it's getting a lot better.
To drop calls a lot, but I use it for international calls. That's pretty much it. If you could be mentored by anybody, who would it be?
Mentored by anyone, that's tough. Probably Elon Musk. I think what he's doing in the field of energy and autonomous and artificial intelligence. I think is really groundbreaking, and we're going to need that type of thinking and leadership, to kind of like move humanity forward. So I just want to talk to people who have that degree of I want to change the world type thing. Think big and really execute on what you think. So I think Elon Musk would be a good person, and probably like Barack Obama, President Barack Obama. What he's done, and the leader of the free world, and with the goals and the what he's been able to accomplish, given I don't want to get too political, given the nature of the country. So I think I would like to be mentored by those two.
Cool. Just a couple more questions. I guess I should have asked this earlier. What is your key kind of target market? Obviously it's men, but is it guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s? I mean, I know it's all of them. You're trying to cater to all of them, but what has been your most popular segment so far?
We love the millennials. We love the millennials, but probably like 21, probably 21 to 45 income over 50,000 is probably where our sweet spot is.
Okay.
That's because they have the disposable income. They use tech. They use apps such as Snapchat, and they use Instagram, Facebook, and it's just something that they're used to. The learning curve is not that bad. So so that's probably would be like our target audience right now. But that's ever expanding. We want to really tap into this void in the market.
Right. No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I can see where the millennials are a little bit more savvy. They're on their phones. They all got iPhones and Androids, but yeah, certainly the older guys are jumping onto that train too.
Absolutely.
And then
go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go.
No, I wouldn't say anything.
I mean, I know the older, 40, 50, 60 crowd. I mean, that's the fastest growing demographic on Facebook. At least it was over the last couple of years. I assume it probably is still today. And then kind of last question, what is your favorite book or TV show?
I'm really into this, The Rise of the Robots. It's just, it's a book that describes, the scaling out of, the workforce and how, it's going to change and technology is going to change that. That's a very interesting. And, of course, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan too. So, that's probably, my favorite show in the last 5 years, GOT.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
I watched a few, man. That's a weird show. That's
I feel like if you can get through the 4th episode in the first season, if you can just I don't know how busy you are, but if you could do that, you'll be hooked.
Right. No, I did. It was first few, I was like getting so confused, like what the hell? There's all these characters with crazy names and they're all from crazy places. Like I didn't know what the hell was going on. But then once you start to get to know the characters, you do kind of settle in. I got to renew my HBO subscription though, so I can get back in and watch season 2. But
I don't encourage you to do that unless you have a lot of free time. I actually was a little late to the show, late to the show, and I had to watch like 4 seasons, and I did that over 2 weeks.
Damn.
2.5 weeks. 4 seasons.
So your life was basically Squire and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's 40 hours, and that's a lot. That's like a full-time job.
And you already got a full-time job, so it's no sleep for you.
Yeah, let's say I wasn't going out on the weekends.
Most entrepreneurs don't, man. We at least in the beginning we can't even afford to, especially in New York. It's fucking. Now, do you live where in New York you live? Which borough?
I live in Manhattan.
Okay, so pretty expensive, right?
Somewhat, but we have a little bit of money so we can pay ourselves a little. So we're able to afford something modest. I got roommates, so it's not that bad.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, man, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. It was a true pleasure. Excited to hear what Squire's up to. And I'll put all this stuff in the show notes, but people can download the app on iOS and Android, right?
No, just iOS, but we do have a website that people can use. It's just getsquire.com, and you can just book an appointment at any one of our partner barbershops.
Awesome.
And the link to download the app is getsquire.com/download. Okay,
cool. Great. I'll put all that stuff in the show notes, and I'll also add, your social media account so they can find you there. And, want to wish you continued success.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, John. Thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.
All right.